then bring it into the bedroom. That sounds really wrong. But you know what I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways, have you started recording?
Yeah.
Okay.
I've got all that.
Wonderful. My internet story, guys.
Wonderful.
My internet.
That's a perfect segue.
My
our
internet.
first film.
Wonderful. Like Wonder Woman.
Yeah. As promised.
I don't know if we should do an intro. How do we do these intros anymore? Welcome to
I don't
Suicidal.
remember us ever doing one.
We should.
just sort of start.
Welcome to Suicidal Cinephiles.
You didn't fuck it up that time.
Shut the fuck up. We should just start like every season with Welcome to Suicidal Cinephiles. You didn't fuck that up. Fuck you. Every time.
Exactly.
Yes. Very, very, very us. Okay, so this week we shall be talking about, we saw two major films that came out in the past 2 weeks.
Yep.
A lot of hype for both of them.
One was major surprise, and the other one was a major disappointment.
It wasn't.
Well, it wasn't even disappointing. I didn't have.
It wasn't
high
surprising.
expectations.
It was like one was a surprise and one was not a surprise. So we're gonna calling this episode "The Good, the Bad, the Ugly." I guess the bad is Superman v Batman, which we want to kind of segue between the two because the first film we're going to talk about is Wonder Woman, and Ren was telling me that after you watched Wonder Woman, you went and watched Batman v Superman because Gal Gadot was in both of these films.
Yeah, I just went back because it's all a part of the same. I had to look at it again. And
did you watch? You watched the extended cut, didn't you? How was it?
I can't. I have such little regard for that movie that I don't know what the difference is. Because I don't.
Makes sense.
I can tell a couple of things. It's like things that obviously weren't in. Like, there's a couple of shots at the start. I think like kind of the whole structure of like the terrorist sequence at the start. Because I can't. I watched it about a week ago.
I don't even remember the
and
film.
I've forgotten everything about it again.
I was just gonna say I don't remember
it's not
what
particularly
happened.
memorable.
All I remember is Martha.
Martha.
Why did you say her name? Save Martha.
Yeah.
That's the only part. And then like,
I can't remember the circumstances, and that's the whole thing. Like I watched it a week ago, and I've forgotten it all. And it's like the whole terrorist thing. It's like Lois goes to.
Wait, there's a terrorist thing?
Yeah,
I don't remember.
Lois goes to investigate in Africa. There's some sort of terrorist cell, and she's going to.
They say Africa. I thought it was like.
I think it's Africa.
Afghanistan.
I think they say Africa.
Or like somewhere in the Middle East.
I don't know.
Well, wherever it is. I'm sorry.
There's a big desert and there's buildings there.
Yeah.
And then she goes.
Could be
there.
Egypt for all we know. Anyway, so we will be talking about Wonder Woman.
Yes, Wonder Woman.
The first to start off with.
So Patty Jenkins' film Wonder Woman.
Very good.
Coming under the brand of
DC
the
Universe.
DC Cinematic Universe.
Yeah.
And it was good.
It was good. Yeah, both of us kind of I'm not sure if you were interested in the film.
I was kind of after I'd heard more about it, but I
initially
wasn't that interested.
No, initially both of us were, another one.
I thought the track record of these last three movies that they've made
not just
terrible.
DC, but just, Marvel.
Marvel's
DC,
not bad. They're just
repetitive.
very boring now to me.
Yeah, it's all the same.
It's all the same.
So I actually, Ren already knew most of the stuff about Wonder Woman, but I actually didn't know too much.
That much.
Okay, well, I went on Wikipedia, everyone's favorite website, and looked up stuff about Wonder Woman. So Wonder Woman, also known as Diana, Princess Diana of...
Princess Diana, I always think that's weird.
Yeah, but Diana...
But she was made way before, so it's fine.
So she was initially made by a psychologist, created by a psychologist
Harry George Peter.
Yeah, who invented...
Must be hard having three first names, but anyway.
Do you know, actually, so quick side note, I work in an optical place, and someone came in, and his first and last name were both David. His name was literally David. I hope he never hears this. I'm really sorry, David, if you're out there. But, oh my God, because I said to him, so what's your last name? David. What's your first name? David.
Yep. Good fun.
And then I kind of looked at him, and I'm like, I don't know if you're dicking around with me, or if...
I'm just looking at the Wikipedia page for Harry George Peter at the moment, and there's a guy who's pictured apparently called Max Gaines. And that's... Did he go to the gym a lot, or what?
I don't know.
It's kind of...
There's someone called Max Power as well.
Okay, that's
like
cool.
Like that Simpsons episode. But she was made early on kind of as a feminist figure, because she was made during the suffragette era.
Yeah.
Pretty much. And she's made kind of based upon all these female figures in his life. And obviously she's got a lasso of truth, which is kind of talking about his, his input into the polygraph and all that stuff.
Yes, he created the blood pressure area, whatever they call it. I can't remember what it's called, but yeah.
Yeah, and he made her to be Amazonian, very muscular, very strong.
Yes. He was employed by DC, I think, to make educational comic books originally. And then his wife's, because I think it got to a certain point and superheroes were getting really popular.
Mm-mm.
And then it was like his wife, whose name I can't remember, Elizabeth something.
Olivia? I've got O-L.
Elizabeth Olivia. I think she had 3 names too.
Yeah. Everyone had 3 names back then. That was a thing.
But he made Wonder Woman because she asked him to make a female superhero, basically.
Yeah. And I read somewhere I read in the thing that in certain comics she's bisexual, which I think is really quite interesting because then...
that's just comics. There are certain comics when Thor is a lady now, apparently.
That is true, Lady Thor. Either way, I thought it was interesting that she was bisexual because I never thought. I just always thought she was.
I just think whatever they want to do in the comic books, they do. It's like anime, pretty much.
So pretty much he created her to be a model, or what he pictured to be an era of liberated women who didn't didn't bow down to men, did their own thing, wanted votes,
it's really it's probably very ahead of its time at the time, but it's very obvious now.
Yeah.
Like it's she comes from an island of women, the only women, and she was born. I know that the original story isn't that she's given by Zeus.
Aphrodite gave her life after her
Aphrodite, but now it's Zeus. Zeus molded her from clay.
I thought, I've got a quote here which I was reading to you before, and it's pretty much what he said about Wonder Woman, which is Wonder Woman is a psychological propaganda for the new type of women who should, I believe, rule the new world or rule the world. I think it's quite interesting that she came from an island. Also, long story short, Wonder Woman talks about her origin story pretty much, like Captain America kind of origin story. And I think it's interesting that she came from a island of women. Mm-hmm. Everyone seemed very fair, happy, kind of very intellectual, which Diana is. And
they're all warriors, actually.
Yeah, they're all warriors, but very wise. They're not like men. Men are very... Well, not... This is not
exact. The way that they portray
men, really portray was like... It's like, men are very aggressive and they use their power over their minds, whereas I feel like in this kind of situation they were talking more like, well, these are women, they're strong, but they use their brains as well. They're not just fighting for the cause of fighting. I think it's interesting because, the first time she meets a man, she's not... Because she's naive, but at the same time she's not stupid about it. Like she knows about what sex is, so you don't have to have that weird, what is a penis kind of.
They still have that.
Still do,
but it wasn't like stupid.
Yeah, no, it wasn't like, what is that? And she like does something weirdly sexual.
That's funny because she goes, "What is that?" And she's not actually referring to it, but he thinks she is. I think, and then he's like, "Oh, it's a watch." Because she's pointing at the watch, and he's like, "Oh, that's what it is." But that was. It was pretty good. Like it's been a long time since I've watched a superhero movie, which
made you laugh.
Not like that. Like Avengers made me laugh and all sorts of stuff. That's fine. But Guardians, they're not really
That's
superheroes,
true. Guardians did make me
it's
laugh.
part of it. But it they treated her like a superhero.
Yeah.
Like Batman v Superman and Suicide Squad and Man of Steel, even Civil War a bit. They just get a bit up themselves, it's
so powerful, whatever.
Well, Superman, it was like, I'm a depressing guy, I want to cut myself, and I was.
Remember Clark Kent back in high school? Oh my god, I'm so sad because I'm super powerful and no one likes me because I'm weird.
Oh no,
oh, I'm alien, but I look exactly the fucking same as everyone else.
Linkin Park speaks to me. As a
we're
talking
about the song "Numb." That's literally Clark Kent.
That's like Superman all the way through.
It can't be Batman because Batman doesn't have any parents.
Batman's always like the depressing.
Batman's My Chemical Romance, like angry on the inside, but like dark on the outside.
At least the Batman movies are smart. But anyway,
can I just say, I know a few months back we did the Red Pill, and we were talking about our, like, you know, feminism and men's right and all that. And I think Wonder Woman's a good figure for both of them in a way, because she's not against men.
I was mentioning before, I don't know what comic it is.
Yeah.
I just mentioned before, there's apparently a comic where there's some sort of threat to whatever the island is called. I can never remember it because I can barely pronounce it. The island that Wonder Woman comes from. Themyscira or something.
Yeah,
I don't even know.
Yeah,
I can't pronounce it. I'm sorry to all
Greek.
the comic book people out there.
Maybe it's Greek.
Well, probably it's all based on Greek mythology, apparently. But there's apparently a storyline in the Justice League where the
cat's meowing.
Yeah, the cat's meowing somewhere. But the island's attacked by some bad force, and the Justice League come to save them.
Yeah.
Obviously with Wonder Woman and all the rest. And after this, I think it's after they're saved, the women basically don't want to ever see the Justice League again because of all the men in it.
Yeah.
And it's like, I think it's considered to be one of the more interesting ones because, like, Wonder Woman, like, fundamentally disagreeing with the people where she came from and going, what's wrong with you? These are good people.
Yeah, I think the important message is not that she's a woman and then she came from women. It's also that she's a woman, she's fighting alongside men as equals. I think that's the most important message.
That's the point.
Yeah, that's exactly.
Should be, rather.
That should be the point. And
But as we know, this movie's been politicised every 5 seconds.
So much. Oh my gosh.
Apparently, Gal Gadot's too attractive and not fat enough to be a feminist.
But she's Amazonian. She's supposed to be muscular. I mean, look, we talked about the casting. With Batman vs Superman, I talked about the casting ages ago, and I felt like in Batman v Superman, I was saying, I don't know about the casting, I don't know how I feel, but in this film, it's like, oh no, this was a correct choice. Like, but I think we were talking about how Batman v Superman just didn't do a great job of portraying her.
That's because she had nothing to do. But that's not her fault. I don't think, and I don't think Zack Snyder's a fantastic director either.
Yeah. Can't ask too much, can you?
And like in terms of casting, it's like you look at Batman v Superman, it's like people really weren't sure about Ben Affleck. And I think he's the best part of the film, despite the fact that it's not a good film, and he's kind of the best part. Like, I wouldn't mind seeing a
film
Batman
just
film
of him,
with him
I know what
in
you
it.
mean. Yeah.
Like, I'm fine with that, and I don't mind like Henry Cavill, the idea of Henry Cavill, but I just think they've screwed the Superman character up so much. It's going to be really hard to
get it back.
Like, I'm not saying that you can't do serious Superman, but
you can only do emo Superman.
I think they've fumbled it badly.
I feel like there's just all this play on how Superman's all like depressed because, you know, he's got powers and his whole world is dead and all that. And like, it's too much. That's what I was going to say. It's too much. It's just like, oh,
Which is great contrast to this because it's like Wonder Woman's thing still is alive.
Yeah, she's just like, I don't fucking care. Like, she's naive, but then, like I said, she's intellectual, but she's a bit naive.
Well, she's actually a rebel in her own, amongst her own people because she
rebel with a cause.
So the basic plot of this film is that, you know, she's living this life. She wasn't supposed to be trained. Her mother forbid her. Her mother is the queen. Yeah, forbid her from being trained in battle. To fight or anything like that, and then her auntie, played by Robin Wright, who's great,
amazing. Love
she's
her.
Great in House of Cards, actually. She's
was
not
she
in
Medium or that show ages ago?
No,
that's someone else. I feel like some other blonde, blue-eyed lady.
I can't remember. She's in Boyhood.
Yeah,
she's a good actress as well. But Robin Wright's great in House of Cards. She's good in this, but she's not in it enough because spoilers, she dies.
Yeah,
like. Pretty early on in the film.
Game of Thrones style kind of dies, yeah.
Well, I think it was going to happen. The mentor always dies.
Yeah.
But
for the child to grow up, the mentor has to die, yeah.
Yeah, so what happens is Chris Pine ends up crashing his World War I era plane into this island, pretty much, or the ocean near the island. There's like some sort of force field barrier around it that hides it from the outside world, and he ends up going through it. Crashing, and he's being pursued by like a whole bunch of German people. Not Nazis.
They're not Nazis?
It's World War One.
Oh, gosh.
They weren't Nazis.
Not yet.
They were just the Germans.
Just the Germans. My bad. Sorry for that. Sorry. Inappropriate.
So, so they all come through. The Amazonians fight them off, basically take them all out. And the auntie is killed in the process, and it's basically Diana saves him from the plane, and because she's not going to just let him die, and then
he tells her about the war.
He tells
and
all of them about the war, and she's like, "Oh, we have to do something about it." It's Ares, the god of war, which
Yeah.
is this whole preamble to the film of like the mythology surrounding their kingdom.
the god of chaos,
God of war.
Sorry,
It's like Goose,
Zeus.
Zeus's son.
Yeah,
Ares. So yeah, so she thinks it's like he's got control somewhere, and he's like in charge of the German army, and he's causing them to be evil and bad.
Yeah.
And then she gets into civilization. She leaves. She can't come back, apparently, and she finds out it's really not that simple.
Yeah, it's not black and white. It's very grey.
Yeah.
Can I just say one thing that really made me like happy? I guess you can say happy was the fact that she just kills people. She like does not give two shits. She's just like, oh fuck you, man, fuck you, you. Like she's got this. She's got the sword and she's got the shield. She's just like when she's attacking, she's just like.
Whereas the highlight of the film?
Yeah.
Is the middle section of the film where she finally gets to the war.
Yeah.
And after all this sort of other stuff where it's like you get a bit of comic relief of like her trying to fit into society, they get her clothes and everything like that, which fit in.
She's wearing a sword and a shield with her like normal attire.
Like normal 15 attire or whatever.
Yeah, it's funny.
And you've got, like the secretary following them around, who's slowly getting more frustrated with her because she's going, you can't be armoured in this stuff.
Yeah.
What are you talking
or she'll
about?
like lift her leg arm and rip the skirt.
Yeah,
because in her head everyone's a warrior. She's a warrior, and then but in that society, like I said, it's a woman beyond her time.
But it's not just that. It's just they're all warriors there.
Yeah,
they're not like there's no civilians.
Yeah, exactly.
On the island, they're just
no such thing as civilians.
They're all fighters.
Yeah. So
like
she's wearing
Spartans.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But she's wearing like what you see Wonder Woman wears, like the leotard and all that. So, she's all like, well, how are you expected to fight in this? Like, what the fuck, man? She's looking and they're just like, you don't...
Like, walking around and she keeps, like, doing that, like, putting her hands on her hips and the coat moves out of the way and he's like, cover... Stop doing that,
Yeah, because he's like, you're naked.
Yeah, pretty much naked.
You're naked. Because back in the day, that's...
Yeah, well, but that was way too much.
Yeah, it's way too much. But, like, once again, we push on this idea she's a woman beyond her time.
Yeah.
I mean, if Wonder Woman came into our current society, we'd be like, oh, no, she's pretty hot. She's okay. She can wear that.
She'd probably be modestly dressed.
Oh, yeah. She's like, you have to take some clothes off, man. She's too modest.
But it does get to the stage where she goes through, like, she has to watch, like, politics unfolding of, like, what are we doing in the war and all sorts of stuff, and just goes debating and all sorts of stuff.
What I think is funny is she just... Okay, so this is room. These people are debating about world peace, all that, blah, blah, blah. Or just the war in general. And
it's not a treaty, what do they call it? Armistice.
Oh, yeah. And then, what's Chris Pine's character?
Steve.
Steve, like, walks in. He's like, just wait here. Because apparently women aren't allowed in that room. Yeah, because
women weren't allowed in political...
Like, this film is such a big kind of symbolism in a way. She just walks in. She just walks in.
I think it's funny because they do all that, and if it was set in modern day, it would be dumb.
Yeah.
Because it'd be like, they are allowed.
Yeah. But back then, it was a big thing.
Because it's a period piece, it works.
Yeah. But, like, she just waltzes, and it was such a big, like, I don't see the big deal. Just waltzes in.
Yeah, she just walks in. She's like, okay, I'll listen. And they're all looking at her going,
what the fuck is going on? But it's like, it's one of my, stuff like that she does like that is like one of my favorite things, because then to me it's like, well, this is what we fight for. Like, women should have fight for, rather than stupid things like roadwork signs.
They also don't make a big deal, like, they're also not like all the men just hate that she's there. It's more like, but that's the rules.
Yeah, it's like,
not that they'd really give a crap, but it's like, she's breaking the rules.
Yeah,
and like,
this is not what people do.
And like, Steve's even like, well, I would let you in, but I'm not allowed to, like, sort of thing as well.
Yeah.
It's a bit more like
it's
that.
Like, it's not like you're not allowed here, but no one's ever come here that's a woman. Oh, this is weird.
But they have that also the thing where she lands, and she's just like, okay, where's the war, sort of thing. And he's like, oh, well, it's that way. He goes, we've got to go this way first. And she's like, no, just go. It's like, no, I've got to do this first. And then, like, she doesn't understand all of the red tape you've got to go through to do all this stuff.
Yeah, there's no rules for her. In her, it's like, I'm going to go to the war, I'm going to fix the war, and that's it. Like, and she has such confidence through the whole film.
But it's like such innocence.
Innocent confidence.
And it was refreshing. Yeah. It was like, kind of like, Spider-Man going, oh, I don't know, what do I do with these powers? Yeah. And he just kind of screws around with them for a while.
Yeah.
But yeah, then when she finally gets to the war and he's got like his
In the
band of
trenches.
buddies.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
one's an American Indian, one's an Arab guy, I think, and an
One's,
Irishman.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
an Irishman
Not
is-
quite right, Irishman.
Or is he Scottish? I can't remember. I think
He's-
no, Scottish because he's wearing kilt.
Oh,
One's
yeah, he
over.
is Scottish, yeah.
Yeah, who's drunk and a sniper.
Yeah, very good.
The Arab guy's an actor. American Indian guy's American Indian. That's basically
Yeah,
what they say.
yeah.
He travels around.
And she's like, who took your land? Oh, his people.
His people. And
Quite
she's
like-
like, and she's going,
What?
she's like kind of sitting there going, like, why aren't you killing each other right now?
Yeah.
And it's like, it doesn't work like that.
Yeah.
It's like, there's more to it.
Yeah. Because in her head, it's very easy. It's like I said,
Everything's black and white.
It's you're either good or you're bad.
I would actually say it's her mentality before she goes there is like more of like what people think of politics in general. It's just like, if you're a feminist, you must adhere to this, or if you're this, you must adhere to this. And then she
It doesn't
goes into
work
the
that
real world and it's like, oh, it's more
This
complicated.
is not like this at all. Oh my god. So like I said, she's in the trenches with his gang and all that, and she's like, oh, they're talking about a town. Oh, a woman grabs her, a sick woman grabs her, and she's like, oh,
with her baby.
Yeah, and the town, they're being attacked. They've taken all our people as hostages, blah blah blah. And then Diana's like, we're gonna help them, and then Steve
Chris Pine's just like, yeah, we've got to.
you can't. It's no man's land. We haven't moved from here in like ages. So she's like, what the fuck are you on about?
It's like, this is why we're fighting in the
And I'm
first
like,
place.
what have you guys been? She kind of comes in. It's like, what the fuck have you guys been doing all this time? Oh my god, step the fuck aside. Let me handle this.
It's also the fact like she doesn't realize how much more invincible she is.
She is, yeah, obviously.
And then she, throws off the coat, gets up like onto the battlefield, and then it's
just-
like it's like a proper superhero reveal thing.
Yeah.
Like
It's like her first moment as Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
She's battling these
it's
gunmen.
really awesome.
It's so well done. It is. I was watching this and I was like, oh my god, I'm tearing up. I'm tearing up a little because it's so beautiful.
But it was really cool. And they do everything like the bracelets,
Yeah, the bracelets, the
And
lasso, the lasso.
the shield.
It's just a very well.
And then she sort of hops around. She's knocking people like here and there, and then the troops just follow her over.
Because Chris Pine looks up and he's like, "Oh, well, she's gotten through. She's
Because
broken through.
they
she's
think
broken
she's
through."
just going to die immediately.
Yeah, she's like, because he's looking at her like, "Oh, fuck," and then he's like, "Oh, no, take that back. Take this. Oops, take this. Fucks back." And then he's like, so they see that she's pushing forward, and they go, "Oh, well, fuck that shit," and they start charging.
Yeah.
It's can I
But
just?
she
oh,
pushes
sorry.
them back to the town.
Yeah.
All the way back, and it's got some like pretty good action bits. Like
Yeah.
she flies through a window, she knocks a plane. Like they're running below her
Yeah.
allies, him and all that. And as they're passing, there's like a window
Sniper,
above them,
yeah.
and like a German guy just flies out of it because she's
Yeah.
thrown him out. And then they get to the town. There's a sniper,
Yeah.
and the Scottish guy's like too drunk, I think, to take the shot,
Yeah.
so he can't do it. So she like flips a tank over with her bare hands, like just flips it over, and there's like a bit of armor left on the ground. And what I liked is they actually use stuff in the film that they
Yeah.
kind of set up. So
Yeah.
earlier on in the film, when they're having the battle sequence on the beach on the island
Yeah.
with the German soldiers, some of the Amazonians use a shield to like launch another. I think it's actually Robin Wright over like
Yeah.
a rock, and then
Yeah.
she shoots like 3 Germans with bow and arrow.
Yeah.
And then, so they pick up the bit of armor of the tank, put it on their, like, lift it.
Yeah, and
then she jumps on it
yeah.
and then flies into the top of the church and it just explodes.
The whole church just crumbles. You're like, oh, and then she's just standing there like, oh, I'm fine, guys. Like, brush it off. Yeah.
Yeah.
Can I also say another scene, like right before she steps out into like the no man's land, she puts on her, because her aunt passes away, her mentor passes away. So she puts, and as she leaves, her mum gives her the aunt's like headband.
The tiara.
The
yeah.
tiara, and she puts that on, and it's like, because up until that point, like, Wonder Woman's got the outfit of the tiara and all that. You don't really see it, and then she puts it on, and it's like, oh yeah, no, this is like,
This is the bit.
this is the moment. She's Wonder Woman now. She's, because up until that point, she's kind of like, she's a superhero, but at the same time, she's going to become Wonder Woman. But at that point, I still saw her as kind of like you're Diana Prince. That's
Yeah.
who you are. You're not really Wonder Woman yet. But when she put that tiara on, I was like, oh yeah, no, this is the moment.
Yeah. But but yeah, it goes through and like, if, you want to spoil it, she does find out that Ares is a thing.
Yeah.
And that he's got some sway over the German army, but not that much.
That much. Because
And it's not actually German army he's a part of. He's part of the Allies.
Yeah,
or,
but the thing
the
is,
English.
the way they the way Chris Pine, because she killed who she thought was Ares, and
yeah,
she's
she's
like,
a German guy.
he's like, why aren't they stopping? Why aren't people stopping the war? Why? And then Chris Pine just looks at it. It's like, sometimes people just do bad things.
It's like, sometimes we're just like that.
We're just like that. There's no one. And then it kind of shows. Eri kind of finally comes out, and he's just like, I actually never told people to do things. Or
He's like, I didn't make it happen. I just kind of pushed it along a little.
Yeah.
Like, just made it a little worse.
Yeah, I just kind of like, I would whisper things into people's ears, but I wouldn't, like, people thought of these on their own. And then I think that's when in her head it finally clicks, like, oh, well, she's battling. She's like, not everyone's going to be good, like, pure, like the people I was with. But at the same time, no one's always going to be completely evil like you. Yeah.
So probably the biggest problem with the film is that aspect in terms of Ares as a character, where he comes from. It's not that it's, like, unbelievable, but it's really easy to spot. In my opinion, it was. Like,
it wasn't for me.
I leant over to Linda at one scene. They're in a bar in England, and the English guy who was at the earlier political meeting making a case for the armistice and whatever comes in and basically gives them the okay to, like, go and do an illegal mission into no man's land in France.
Yeah.
And I sort of leant over to Linda and I was like, I bet he's Ares.
And I was like, no way,
like,
no.
And I think your original thing was like, there's probably not going to be an Ares.
Yeah, I thought there wasn't, because I thought it was going to be a moment like...
If anything, that would have been better. But I think that was probably the only thing that I think they had to do for the sake of the studio.
Yeah.
The studio is probably saying, you have to have a big battle with the bad guy at the end.
Yeah. Well, I was thinking what was going to happen was she was going to beat the German guy. He's going to die. She's going to realize that people weren't going to stop. And she's going to suddenly realize that humans aren't controlled by this evil.
But maybe she'll, like, help them finish a mission.
Yeah, she'll, like, that's what I thought. So when it started heading off, like, oh, why aren't they stopping? And Chris Pine's all like, that's how people... I was like, okay, this is where I know where it's going to head. And then... Obviously, there had to be the big battle at the end, so I understood why they did it.
The ending's probably the weakest part of the movie. It's not terrible. Yeah. It's not bad.
Oh, no, that part with Chris Pine and her...
Oh, yeah, that bit's good.
Break my heart.
So the big, like, sacrifice moment of the film is Chris Pine, like, there's a Lady Poison or whatever. What's she called? I think it's
Lady Poison.
I think it's something like that. Yeah, she's like a...
Dr. Poison?
Dr. Poison. I think that's it. Yeah. Dr. Poison. She's got, like, a bit of her face missing. She's got, like, a little mask thing on her mouth, and... She, like, develops basically, like, a really, really bad mustard gas. Really bad.
I thought you said mustard gas, and I'm
that's what it is. Mustard gas.
What's mustard?
That's what it was in World War One.
I'm sorry, I'm really uneducated in that aspect. So.
Yeah, so it's like why they had to have gas masks in the trenches.
Okay.
Because it was like gas warfare, pretty much. Like they'd drop it in, and it was pretty lethal.
Oh wow. Okay.
So yeah, she was making an even worse version that'd melt gas masks. Oh. I actually liked how simple that was. Yeah. It wasn't like, here's the Infinity Stone, it's a magical thing. No, she was just like, I'm going to try and manipulate the... And it was on Ares' orders, kind of. Yeah. Like, he gave her the idea or something. Yeah. But she was already going to be evil.
Yeah, she was already quite vindictive.
Yeah, she was pretty horrible. But I was kind of hoping she would be the main bad guy, but she wasn't. But she's making this gas, like the big bunch of it that's going to be dropped all over the battlefields. I think it's before the armistice can happen.
It's hydrogen based, so it's flammable.
Yeah, so it's flammable as well as will completely melt off the gas masks or whatever. I think, and so they're going to drop it all over the trenches and basically like wipe out people on every side, just to like keep the war going. Yeah, and so Chris Pine jumps into it. Like there's an explosion basically, and Wonder Woman gets a bit shell shocked, so she can't hear what he's saying. He's just sort of talking to her, and she can't make out what he's saying. Then he says some stuff, and then he leaves, runs off, gets in the plane, and she doesn't quite understand what's happening.
What's going on? Yeah, and then it just explodes.
Then she sees it explode in the distance. And she understands that he sacrificed himself for the greater good, sort of thing.
But do you know that's such an important scene? It's an important scene because she's there as she's she eventually, you see the flashback and you see what he's saying, and he's saying to her, I have to go. He's giving her his watch, the watch from the beginning, and she's like, I'll do it, whatever it is, I can do it. And he's like, no, this is something only I can do. And I think that is so important because despite this whole being a feminist thing, and, you know, it showed like this one moment, it's like, you know what, we're not, I think it was the director kind of saying, this film is not just about women, it's also about the sacrifice of men as well. It broke my heart when I watched it. I was like, oh my God, like, I never felt so torn up because I was just going to say, if we rewind a little bit more, my favorite scene, the whole thing, I know it sounds really stupid, was literally the scene right after she had beaten all these guys up. all the villagers, they are thanking her, or, you know, are laughing, and, you know, they're happy for this one moment. And Scottish guys are singing in the bar, and so they're sitting outside chatting, and he tells her to dance, and she's holding her, and they're just dancing. And that, to me, was like the purest moment in the whole film. I don't know why. I just really loved it.
I think it was like because she doesn't really get like stuffing around, like playing and like enjoying yourself and having a party and stuff. So he's kind of teaching her that as well.
Yeah, and it was like, and then that...
Because doesn't she say it's like, this was what your people do when there's no war?
Yeah.
Because she doesn't know...
what to do when she's not...
She doesn't know what it's like without war, because she's come into it and that's all that's happened.
Yeah, yeah. And it's such a, like, it's just... Obviously, you knew exactly what was going to happen afterwards. Like, you know, shit was going to hit the fan and all that. But there was this... When I was watching, I was like, you know what? Because it's such a nice... I'm just going to enjoy this. I'm going to let myself enjoy this moment. And then when he's like... and he hands her the watch, and... Yeah, like the whole fact that she was like, I can do it, and he's like, no, it has to be me, because you've got greater things to do, so it has to be me.
It's like, you gotta kick that guy's ass.
Yeah, you've got to kick his ass, you've got to save the world, you've got all these things to do.
Yeah.
I can do this. You've got the rest of the world to worry about.
The only shame of it is that they kind of screw up their own, not regarding his character, but the whole Ares thing, they kind of screw up their own thing, because they're like, he was pushed a little bit. He wasn't the whole reason for the war, because there's much more complicated reasons for there to be a war. But once he dies, the German soldiers like get up and they're like smiling, and they start like hugging each other, and it's like all better now.
Yeah.
And then the next scene, like the war's over.
Yeah.
And I went, yeah.
But it had to tie.
Yeah,
the film had to tie.
It had to finish, I suppose, and on a much more hopeful note.
Yeah.
I think the greatest strength behind this movie is that they didn't try to tie it into the rest of all the other films as much. There's a bit at the start, a bit at the end, that's it. There's no post-credit sequence.
Oh, God, it's beautiful.
It's just a movie.
There's no Stan Lee. Oh,
of course there's no Stan Lee.
Freaking out. I'm so sick and tired of seeing stuff. Like, Stan Lee, I respect you, man, but oh my effing God, if you show up in... I was saying, some people are saying, oh, once Stan Lee dies, can Deadpool replace him? And I'm like, I'm okay with Deadpool replacing him.
Yeah, that'd be funny.
Yeah, that'd be good, but I'm like, fucking Stan Lee, just fucking retire. Just go get lost. Like... You know, you don't have to tell people... every time he's in a cameo, I
think that's just their thing now.
Yeah, but all I'm thinking is, oh, look at me.
He probably just likes it. That's fair enough. He can do that.
Which pisses me off. Anyways, yeah, but that's pretty much... That's
pretty much Wonder Woman.
We both gave it very...
Out of all four of the movies that they've made, it's the best.
It is definitely by a long leap.
I am not hopeful for Justice League, though. I look at the trailer for that and it looks like a mess.
I think we were talking... I was thinking, like, Suicide Squad could have been as good as Wonder Woman, just if they had edited it differently.
I don't even know if it's just editing. Like, there's parts of the story which are just silly anyway, but it's badly edited. That's one problem. And I hate the Joker. I mean, that's me personally. That's my own personal... I hated Leto as the Joker. And it's like, I think that Margot Robbie is perfect as Harley Quinn, but they... didn't write her very well.
No, they could have done her a lot better.
I think I was watching somebody else talk about Suicide Squad the other day, and they were just like, it's really sad that Jai Courtney playing Captain Boomerang was the most interesting character in the whole movie. Like, he was the most enjoyable character. He's actually got some attitude.
Yeah, that's true.
And he did. He's an Aussie as well. So,
yeah, that's true. Yeah, well, we're known for not giving a fuck. So there we go. So the second film that we watched was The Mummy.
Yeah. Can you call it a movie?
No, direct... like, I don't know.
This might be one of the most, like...
poorly written.
It's not even... No, you know what it is? It's like... It feels like it was bred in the lab by Hollywood producers who went, you need to have these things in a movie for it to be successful. You need to have Tom Cruise.
Yeah.
And you need to have a
hot blonde woman.
A hot blonde lady. And you need to have lots of special effects. You need to have a cinematic universe.
Michael Bay film.
Michael Bay's films have more vision than this, I think, to be honest.
Really? Wow, that's a lot coming from you.
I would take the first Transformers movie over this.
Okay, my view from this... actually, let's talk about The Mummy. This is the storyline. So,
well, that's going to be interesting because I'm still not entirely sure. Like, it doesn't make sense to me.
It's you remember I was trying to explain Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children? This is what the story like. It's like you're saying one thing and people are like, the face, if I could show you my face.
As you're explaining it to, they're working out that, like,
what?
It doesn't make sense as you're talking.
We were talking about it, and he would say certain things, and I'm like, and he'd be like, well, why did they do that? And then I'll explain it, and he's like, well, they didn't explain that film, and I'm like, Ren, if I didn't explain this to myself, I would literally have an aneurysm. Like, literally, I'm trying to make sense so that I don't have a fucking stroke in the middle of the night.
But there's also, like, just as, like, filmmaking techniques and, like, giving information to you, it's really bad.
Lots of expository.
Like, not just that, though. Like, the level of expository dialogue isn't necessary half the time because...
So every time, like, where is she, Ahmed? What does she need? A chosen one.
So the opening sequence, right, is a flashback to Egyptian times when she was a prospective queen, the mummy. I don't know her name. I know Sophia Boutella or something like that is the actress. She's probably one of the better parts of this film.
Yeah, she's amazing. She's really...
I mean, I've seen her in 2 things.
She was in Kingsman?
She's in Kingsman as Knife Leg Lady.
And
Sword Lady. Sword Leg Lady, who flips around and kills people.
She's amazing, yeah.
She's good in that, though. I would much rather be watching Kingsman.
Yeah,
but, yeah, she's supposed to be like the next queen of Egypt.
Next pharaoh, yeah.
And then they didn't actually explain what her relation is.
So what
But a baby is born who is going to be the heir.
I googled this.
Okay, you had to Google it. That's a
good sign. That's the first is when you have to Google something to find it out. So she, or maybe it was in the film. Either way, it was explained very much late in the film, and it was very easily. By that point, I think you and I are half brain asleep, half dead. Yeah. Not really. But I had to Google this because it did. Apparently Tom Cruise did ask her, and she did say that. So her mum died giving birth to her.
Yeah.
And then
I thought that just explained her eligibility. No. Because if it wasn't her
father
was like...
No, but then her father remarried another lady.
Oh, okay,
and,
right.
Yeah, see, I didn't know this.
That makes more sense.
I was like, wait.
Because I was like, it's just like, there's... How they explain it visually is that for some reason she's fighting somebody in the desert, like, as practice, and the king's there watching. And then they stop fighting, and then there's a lady there who's pregnant, I think, and then there's a baby born, like, later.
Yeah.
And there's a voiceover the whole time.
Oh, Russell Crowe's voiceover.
Yeah, Russell Crowe's voice. Explaining... Yeah, that's stupid.
Oh, let's talk about the dark... Actually, after this, let's talk about the fucking dark first, but... Anyways, everything...
Oh, what's really insulting about this is that it actually opens up with a logo for the Dark Universe, which is just terrible.
It's like, don't assume...
It changes from the Universal symbol and then it goes into, like, dark. Turns around.
But then it's like you're biting off more than you can chew because you don't even know...
They're forcing it. That's what they're doing.
Because obviously the Marvel Universe just kind of happened and the DC kind of copied and I'm like, oh, for fuck's sake.
But, yeah, they have this whole sequence, right? And I don't understand her thinking... when it comes to this. So her intent is to kill the heir and her father, I think, and the mother as well. And
so what we're confused about is does she want to be queen? Or
no, it's like, so let's assume she wants to be queen.
Yeah.
Which I think that was the idea. She wants to be queen. Because she was
going
to be queen and it's stolen from her pretty much.
Couldn't she just poison, like, the baby?
Well, that's the whole thing.
We're just baby, like... It probably died in its sleep.
It's like, you know, logically you would poison and make it look like an accident. Oh, look, I'm the queen now.
Yeah, like, the burden.
Oh, no. Oh, what a shame. I'll be the queen then. And then that's what you would do.
Yeah.
But what she does is she decides the best option she has is to summon the god of death. Who gives her a dagger, and then she goes and slits the throat of her father, the baby,
and the mother,
and her stepsister. That's it.
No, her mother.
Her stepmother, sorry.
Stepmother.
That'd be very odd.
But do you know that's the thing? In ancient Egypt, I'm a weird Egyptian person. I like Egypt.
She's Egyptian now.
No, but I used to look this stuff up when I was
identifies as Egyptian?
Stop it. Our phones are going off, sorry.
Yes.
Anyways, okay, Charles. It's actually just my email. It's no one important. I'm not that popular. But no. So in ancient Egypt, to keep the bloodline what we call pure,
they didn't breed just like any other royal family.
Yeah, pretty much. They breed between themselves, like brother marries sister, sister marries brother.
Like the English royal family and all the others.
Kind of thing.
The others.
So, I mean, if you said stepsister, it wouldn't be that far of a... But that's when I get to the other point I will get to later, which is the just horrible representation of Egyptian, like, history and all that. And it's just so many things. Bad? It's just so many misrepresented things.
I don't think it even matters, though.
Like, it doesn't, but it mattered to me.
But yeah, she does all that in, like, 5,000 years ago, apparently.
Yeah.
And then they say that they mummify her, but they don't.
They don't mummify her alive, they just wrap her in
yeah, the other thing as well is, like, after she's... So it's like doing a deal with the devil.
Yeah.
To get the god of death in you, maybe. I think that's what happens. She suddenly has, like, tattoos all over her.
Yeah.
And her eyes go, well, she's got, like, 2 pupils. Irises, whatever. And pupils, actually. Well, both.
Yeah. Just 2 corneas.
Yeah.
Eyes get weird.
I don't know what it's supposed to mean. This probably does mean something.
I mean, maybe they've got, like, 2 people.
See the whatever.
See the underworld and also the normal world. Maybe, I don't know.
Would have been really bad if she went, I can see Dracula and The Bride of Frankenstein coming 2019. And, like...
She should, at the very end, she's looking there. 2019.
Yeah. But she's not actually properly mummified, which means she's not a mummy.
Yeah.
Which is funny, but she... Yeah, it also cuts after she's killed them. She's about to, like, sleep with a guy.
Yeah.
And then she lays him on his back, and then she picks up the dagger, and she's about to, like, stab it into him, and he seems fine with it, right?
Because the dagger can somehow bring Seth into a mortal body. Set, sorry.
Who's the god of death, apparently.
Is it Set or Seth?
I thought it was Anubis, but okay.
Anubis is the god of the afterlife. So he's the one who... I
just equated that with death.
Yeah, so Anubis brings... I think Anubis is the one who brings people to...
Set takes them and gives them to Anubis?
No. Anubis is the one who... You know how, like, there's a whole thing with the sun every time...
head and everything.
Yeah, no, Anubis is the one who has the boat and he brings them people into the afterlife.
So he ferries them across.
Yeah, he ferries us. And I think Set is actually the god of death. So I think there's some difference. I probably have to look it up.
there's some kind of difference, but...
Please correct me if I'm wrong. This is all rusty to me.
But yeah, she does that, and she's about to stab him, and apparently that will bring the god of death into existence again, like to life.
Yeah.
In this guy's body, apparently.
But why would you want to be mortal if you're already immortal and a god?
Why bring him back?
Anyway. I know. Yeah. Anyways.
But like, I think it's funny as well. It's like she brings this god of death whose whole purpose seems to be just to destroy everything, to get a kingdom which won't exist if he comes back. So that doesn't make any sense to me. But
there's no real motive of why she wants to bring him back or why there's no, like, oh, he will destroy the world or anything like that. Because I'm like, well, technically it was 5,000 years ago. Do you still want that world, or do you want the world with technology and computers? Like, what do you want, man? I don't know.
But yeah, so she goes to stab him. She's unsuccessful because, like, the king's guards come out of somewhere and they stab the guy, and they grab her and they wrap her in bandages. They don't take out all of her insides like they would a mummy.
The mummification process is actually...
You have to embalm them and so on.
Egyptian 101. So the whole thing with mummification is actually... The reason why they did it to pharaohs is because it's firstly a very expensive... Well, back then it was very expensive. And it takes a lot of things.
It's very prestigious. It's supposed to be like you actually properly pass or something.
You get buried because... They preserve your body so that you have a chance to move into the underworld peacefully, and you've got things with you. And, for example, you get buried with servants, you get buried with gifts and jewelry and money. And at the same time, like, the way it works is they pull your brain out through your nose, they take all your organs, put them in jars. At least they didn't show any of that.
They don't do it because she's still alive when they put her in the sarcophagus.
They're still alive.
She's struggling.
So I'm like, unless she's struggling without a brain,
which is funny as well because I'm like, she should be powerful.
Yeah,
that shouldn't be.
No, the magical bandages. Obviously.
The magic bandages. It's a lasso of truth.
Yeah, I was going to say it was a lasso of truth, yeah.
So they put her in a... Now, I understand why they wouldn't properly mummify her, because it's not... They're not trying to send her to the afterlife. They're trying to, like, imprison her somewhere forever so that she'll die and whatever. But they put her in the sarcophagus, and then they travel all the way to Iraq.
Yeah.
And then they bury her underground, like, really far underground.
Yeah.
They also built a temple there. Somehow.
Then, I don't know why they would just, like, put some rocks over it. It's like, oh, fuck this shit.
Yeah.
But they have, like, this whole pulley system. Everything's...
We'll get to the pulley system.
We'll get to that. Oh, my God.
So then it goes to modern day, and Tom Cruise is in Iraq. We don't know anything about him.
He's an antiques...
We don't know anything about him for a while. He's looking for
You still don't know anything about him by the end of it all. He
like,
just
he's looking for like treasures or something.
to sell on the black market.
I found it funny that it was called Haram, but anyway, it's for another time.
But you don't know if he's a soldier or how he knows these people.
Yeah, you find out he used to be a soldier later.
Yeah, but then that doesn't explain why he's in Iraq.
It doesn't explain how shit he is at fighting. Like, anyway.
There's no real scenes of him fighting. The only scenes are him like running around getting chased by things, and then him getting beaten to death by like that girl at the end.
Well, anyway, so he's there with his mate, and he's being a smartass. And this gets, I think, to the first point where you realise that Tom Cruise has been horribly miscast because he can't pull off like the winking smartass character.
Yeah.
Doesn't suit him.
Mission Impossible character.
Yeah, more Mission Impossible, like straight action man, and it's fine.
Yeah, he's great.
He's fine in that sort of stuff, and he's fine in like Edge of Tomorrow, where he's kind of a bit bumbling, but he's still like the good guy saving everybody. But I couldn't get used to him in this movie. He didn't suit it.
He seemed like a fish out of water.
He seemed like he was trying really hard to do something that he's not good at.
All the characters are kind of like, okay, and then you just kind of see him, and every time he acts or does anything, it's a bit like.
And I think
stands out.
I don't think that any of that's his fault. Like,
no, he's just not really.
I think they offered him a lot of money. He's probably getting a slice of these movies if like he'll probably get some sort of little producer credit on all of these other movies that they're making for this cinematic universe, if they even bother. I don't know. It's not doing too well financially.
So far, not good.
We'll see. But he finds out this thing he's looking for, this treasure or whatever he's looking for, is in this town somewhere, and this town is basically occupied by terrorists.
Yeah. I didn't even get that, because I'm just like, what the fuck is going on?
Well, they make that clear because, like, ISIS, for instance, destroys, like, old artifacts and stuff. Yeah. And there's a bit at the start of this when they're just, like, shooting the crap out of, like, stone statues.
Statues, yeah.
So I got it exactly what they're trying to do straight away, but I just...
It was not done very well, was it?
They're also, like, it's not like a group or anything. It's just they're insurgents.
Yeah.
That's what they are.
Yeah.
But anyway, and it's also, like, that's a really weird tonal thing to do. It's, like, something that we know is real, and it's really horrible.
And then also Egyptian mummies.
No, but not just that, but, like, also his attitude is like, oh, well, whatever.
Yeah.
We'll go down there, we'll run through the town, it's fine.
Yeah.
I would actually, this movie would have been 100% funnier to me if he went down there, he got captured and beheaded.
Because they're horrible. Be more realistic.
But what annoyed me as well is, like, they're up the top of this thing, they're on the horse, and his friend won't go because he's scared of them.
Yeah.
And then he cuts, like, his water bag open.
Yeah. It's like, what a fucking
and it's
dick.
leaking. I was like, what a dickhead. And they're apparently, like, days away from water. And then he rides off, and his friend has to go with him. And then it just hard cuts to them running through the town getting shot at. I don't think they had weapons when they were going into town. I didn't see any. But this is one thing, like, this, me personally, like, thinking when I saw it, I went, that doesn't make sense because they're firing American weapons. So either they had them with them and they took them in, or they found them on the terrorists, and the terrorists are all carrying Russian weapons.
I think there's too much. That's too much to think about.
But that's like, I don't.
Yeah, I know. In normal film,
Makes
it makes
so anyway,
sense. This film don't.
So they run
and
away.
Watch anime. This is anime, okay?
They're running away. There's a lot of explosions. He has some sort of connection with the military, and then there's a big rocket comes in from a drone and blows the shit out of the town. The little terrorists run away.
Yeah.
And which is also another problem with that is, like, I'm pretty sure ISIS don't care about dying, but anyway, there's a big hole in the ground that they're almost sucked into, and there's a face, like a stone face, which was funny to me because I thought, and it's even shown, like, on screen, a big hole with this. Nobody has ever found this thing before. It's been there for 5,000 years, and there's a sewage pipe, like, 50 centimetres away from the face.
I know.
And I was looking at it going... and it's like literally a broken sewage pipe, like, poking out in front of it. And I was going... So they built this whole town with sewage and everything, like, proper, like, resources.
Do you know what I can...
And they didn't see this.
You saying that, I can only imagine this poor plumber digging away all the piping. Or digging a hole. And then he just sees the top of this head and he's like,
that's weird.
That's not my job. So he covers it back up, just does his job and moves along. He's
I can imagine him, like, digging under and then, like, looking to the right and just getting freaked out because his face.
Yeah, he's just like, I don't get paid enough. So, like, really? Like, please.
But anyway, like, there's a whole...
Imagine him, it's like, oh, wait, no, it's not 2017 yet. Mummy movie can't come out yet. And then just, like, buries it again.
I'm not Tom Cruise.
I'm not Tom Cruise. Oh, God. I'm an archaeologist.
Neither's he.
Yeah, well, exactly.
But then, lady character... I don't know her job title either. Like, I haven't got
She's
a
an
clue
archaeologist. She works for Dr. Jekyll. But
is that archaeology or is that, like, monster hunting?
Maybe she was an archaeologist and then became a monster hunter.
Okay, true.
Maybe she's going to be like the vampire Buffy. She's going to be Buffy.
Yeah, she's Buffy.
She's Buffy. Do you know what I think is the weirdest thing about this whole fucking film? The thing that just pisses me off is the whole Tom Cruise and her, that this relationship that is but isn't, no real background, no real showing of their actual relationship. We're just, the only thing we know about it is what we hear through them. And then whenever they talk to each other, he talks to her with absolute, like, he's trying to be all cheeky and funny, but he just turns out to be like a jackass. Because he says certain things at the most inappropriate moments.
They're trying to... It was probably the only joke in the film I liked, but it didn't really work because...
The one with the parachute? Yeah. So there's...
Okay, we'll get to that.
Yeah.
But
can I tell the rest?
Yeah.
So she comes in and she's like, she's upset at him because she says he lasted 15 seconds in bed.
She comes in with the army.
Yeah. And she's saying all this stuff because he's like, they've slept together, obviously, and
the map that he got
from Haram.
For Haram. It's a joke I can't be bothered explaining.
And, you know, she's all like, angry at him and all this stuff. And either way, blah, 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 all this stuff happens. And they go, okay, you two are going down there with her, blah, 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 to check this tomb/place out.
Yeah.
Goes downstairs, she's filming, and she's going, oh my God, you know, find of the century. So you see all these, like, these Anubis. Is it Anubis? All these statues.
It looks like that.
Statues facing in, and she's saying, oh my God, it's not a tomb, it's a prison.
I don't know what gave her that idea.
Well, apparently because they were pointing inwards, so they're not protecting, they're making sure no one can...
Something. Okay, so
that's her logic. In my head...
Might be true.
Yeah, it could be a thing. I don't have that much knowledge.
They obviously didn't make much of an impression on me because I didn't remember it.
Yeah, I know. I think at that point I was kind of like... I did spend a solid 20 minutes on my phone during the middle part of the film. I was so fucking bored.
I was nearly falling asleep.
Yeah. We were both just like, anyway, so then, you know, she's looking at it, she's filming, she's recording, and then the other two are like trying to steal things,
around, trying to grab stuff.
And
I don't know why they let them go down with her.
Yeah, that's the thing, because of the plot point, right? Because of the plot point.
Because Tom Cruise has to do something incredibly dumb.
Yeah, but the thing is, like, because before then they were all complaining about he's a thief, he'll steal things and all that. It's like,
let him go down,
but let him go down to the world artifacts. So she's saying stuff like,
don't let any of the soldiers go down. Just him.
They were saying, she was saying, I need to get the esophagus out.
Yeah.
And I don't remember too much, but they're saying, I don't know if we can do it. And the other guy's like, he's gotten bitten by a beetle or a spider. A camel spider. Yeah. And he's like, I just want to go. And so Tom Cruise looks around and there's all these pulleys, the ones we were talking about.
Yes.
Attached to something underneath. There's a pool of mercury, and that's what's holding everything in. And you see this rose going into this pool of mercury and all the statues looking in.
The dumbest line in the movie.
Which is, I don't remember.
Which is, that was meant to keep her in.
Oh, yeah,
she's
something
like that.
This wasn't meant to keep...
This was meant to keep them in or
like,
something.
And I'm like, you know, ropes
pull. You know
pull.
how pulleys work, right?
They pull. They pull. Heads. Like, gravity will keep her in.
It was so easy to get up that all Tom Cruise has to do is shoot a rope.
Because he looks up and down, he looks at the pulley system, and he's looking, okay. Shoots this one rope, the esophagus just literally rises
out of the mercury.
And I'm like, oh, gosh... Oh, wow, that pulley system.
That was dumb.
It just...
Also, the pulley system apparently didn't decay at all over 5,000 years.
Oh, yeah, no,
it's
the ropes were perfectly intact. Because of the mercury.
They were embalmed. That's why perfectly preserved.
Yeah, perfectly preserved mercury ropes. Magic.
Mercury.
Like the magical bandages.
Magical bandages.
Magical bandages, mercury ropes. Anyway, so
by the way, none of this is actually said. Like magical bandages or anything like that. We're just making crap up because that makes more sense than nothing.
Yeah, literally. Okay. You know, she's a super powerful being who can, like, you know, break everything within a 5-meter radius of her, but she can't break out of these bandages.
Also, the trailer is a huge detriment to this movie as well.
Everything's good.
They get on the plane after that to get the esophagus back to London.
Yeah.
And
he's having all these weird visions of her.
And, like, Tom Cruise has all these weird visions
these
where,
weird
like,
sexual visions?
she comes up to me, she's like, kissing him and everything,
He's
and
like, "You're
says
my
like, "You're my
chosen."
chosen," because he let her out.
Yeah.
And then they get on the plane. There's a really weird incident with his friend who got bitten by the camel spider,
he's
who
getting
obviously
controlled.
dies, and then
Yeah.
he comes back,
Later.
and then he stabs like the lead captain, sergeant, whatever,
Yeah.
and he dies. And then Tom Cruise shoots him like 3 times. And this was the thing as well, the plane engine blows for no reason.
Yeah. Because
It just
magic,
blows.
Ren. Because magic.
Yeah, but it's like, they actually could have built this up as like a thing. Because I was thinking, like, the way that they do it in the film is, he's standing there, the plane shudders, he looks out the window, there's smoke coming out of one of the engines. Then he goes to the pilots and he's like, "Oh, what's happening?" And they're like, I think we'll be okay, sort of thing. And then he sees like a cloud of something coming towards him,
It's
and
crows.
it's like crows, and they just fly through the whole plane and like kill the pilots.
Yeah.
And then obviously it goes into a swirl and whatever.
Yeah.
All they need to do is like have a bit of calm after that incident with the friend. Like maybe they're like sorting out the thing, and like
Yeah.
he sits down and he's looking out the window, and then like a crow passes like really quickly, and he's like,
Yeah. That
fuck.
would...
And then another one just flies into the engine, and he's like, "Oh shit!" And, then
There's
build
more
it up
build
a bit
up. Yeah. Because
instead of just, "Poof, oh, what's happening?"
it was literally like, it was like either nothing's happening or everything's happening at the once and everything's going wrong and blah blah. And you're
And
like,
there's
kinda
no
like,
reason for it to
there's
happen?
There's no reason. It's
Yeah.
just like, what time is it? Oh, it's 3 p.m. Oh, that's mummy time. Like, that's literally it.
Mummy time.
I just realized how fucked up. It's like it's mummy time. Yeah, well, that's literally. But half the film is based upon this. Like, you just assume that
Shit just
this
happens.
This
I-
happens.
That's what I said to you about the trailer. I said it just looks like Tom Cruise is running around away from explosions the whole time. It's pretty much what happens eventually.
Michael Bay.
But the plane crashes, and like he gets her out with a parachute and everything, and it's like, and it crashes, and I'm going. There was no tension for me because I'd seen the trailer. I was like, yeah, he doesn't die. He survives. He's fine.
Yeah, I'm just kind of like, no one. This person doesn't die. This person doesn't die.
And it's also like they do like
You're
the
okay.
whole, and it's like, he meets Russell Crowe later,
Yeah, Dr. Joe.
which is funny because I almost when you first see what do you call it?
It's mummy time.
When you first
Sorry, cut that out.
when you first see Russell Crowe, it's like he's there to like look at the Crusader. They find some Crusader tombs.
Oh yeah, London's
underneath London.
We just forgot about that completely, didn't
I
we?
completely forgot about that.
It's
they find some old
irrelevant.
Crusader tombs, and like Russell Crowe turns up
Yeah.
underground, like when they're trying to build more railway tunnels, and like he just turns up and has a look, and he doesn't. He just gives the guy a letter and says, my people will take this from here.
Yeah.
And that was his introduction. And the way they reveal him is he's like in complete darkness coming out of the shadow.
But you can tell he's Russell Crowe.
I know it's Russell Crowe, but
like-
I almost went, "Oh my god, it's Russell Crowe!"
I was watching. I'm like, hey, it's the guy from Les Mis. And Ren's like Russell Crowe. And I'm like, yeah, that guy, the really famous one. But obviously, okay. Can I just say he's like probably my favorite character. I know, like, I really like Ahmed, and she's amazing. But like, out of all the normal human, he's not really human. But all the just non-mummified characters, he's probably my favorite. I don't know why. I think because I like Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, kind of like that idea and the
I like
character
it.
itself.
I just don't think it added anything to the film.
Obviously, but I think the scenes where he was there and but Russell Crowe is very charismatic.
He's a good actor.
He's a great actor. When he comes in,
liked him. I like
all
him.
lights on him.
Um,
He was better than Tom Cruise by far.
Yeah.
Like when he was there, I was like, okay, I'm in. Like he was the Nick Fury. From we were talking about this.
He's going to be the Nick Fury.
He's going to
of
be
this
the Nick
universe.
Fury, yeah, because he knows all and is all.
Instead of being handicapped by having an eye patch, he's handicapped because he's also Mr. Hyde.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Can I just say something?
Mm.
If Nick Fury has an eye patch, does that mean he's got like really bad peripheral vision? Not peripheral. You know how like people with dimension, like he doesn't know.
you mean he only sees in 2 dimensions?
Yeah,
I
is that
don't
a
know.
thing? Because then if you,
I don't think they're probably going to flesh him out that much
I know,
anymore.
but I'm just imagining going up to like Nick Fury and be like, "Can you touch your fingers together?" And him just being like, "Oh fuck," like
Shut up.
it's like fuck you, man.
I don't think he'd even try it. He'd just tell you to go fuck yourself.
Yeah, probably.
Um,
That's very Nick Fury.
It's very Samuel Jackson.
Yeah, it is.
But anyway, so the plot continues, and it's like he gets up,
I actually don't know what the fuck happens in the
and then
next.
like after that, it just becomes a mess. Like he he keeps having visions, and it's like a really good excuse for him to know shit that he shouldn't know.
Yeah.
Like it's like she's pushing you towards this. So they go back to the church where the plane crashed, and she's like pretty much revived by this point. Like she's
sucked the life out of
like 3 or 4 policemen,
and their mummies now,
and she's like getting more and more
human
formed. I will say, funnily enough, we remembered like being kids and watching Brendan Fraser's Mummy series from 1999 and the 2 films that followed it. I didn't see the third one.
Mummy Returns and then...
The Return of the Mummy and the Mummy 3, whatever it was. Last Emperor. I don't know. I know it had Jet Li in it.
I did not know that. Okay.
Yeah, because they went from Egypt to Asia. But anyway, so I don't know why the hell it's called the Mummy, but whatever.
The ancient mummy.
But I remember watching that and going, "This is fun."
Yeah,
and it is fun. I think. Like I my memories of it are pretty good. Like I've seen it a few times.
Yeah,
it was fun, enjoyable.
Yeah,
good movie.
Mm-hmm.
I think Brendan Fraser can pull off the smart ass,
bit of Chris Pratt kind of
Indiana Jones-ish, Chris Pratt-ish sort of character, much better than Tom Cruise.
Oh yeah,
but they do make several references to it in this film.
The book.
They mention Imhotep first, which is the mummy in the first one. He was like the king that also did stuff.
Yeah,
it's to do with. Yeah, he touched a woman he wasn't supposed to, because she was like painted, and he smudged it. And his hand had so they went to kill him and mummify him and whatever and curse him.
Oh wow!
And he came back.
That's a weird reason to curse someone.
Well, it was like I think it was like the king's daughter or something, and he wasn't allowed. That was the whole thing as well. Makes more sense in this movie.
Yeah, well, I'd rather watch that than...
I'd rather watch that movie, definitely.
Yeah. I don't really remember... Okay, I'll tell you
It's much sillier, though, as well, but it kind of works because they don't go so serious tonally.
Yeah. I think they're just trying to be like, oh, it's going to have a few thriller aspects, but most of it's just a feel-good kind of...
Yeah.
You know,
it was mostly comedy, I remember that film. But the other thing is, like, there's a whole sequence... They sort of shove the Mr. Hyde stuff into this film. Like, there's really no reason for Russell Crowe to turn into him in this film. And they treat
I don't know why Tom Cruise grabs it. I'm like, dude, what the fuck, man? What the fuck are you doing?
They treat it like it's the Hulk.
Yeah.
When I can't remember exactly, but I'm pretty sure it's just a potion, right? That he takes and he turns into like the horrible.
No, it's a potion he takes to repress Mr. Hyde.
Oh, so he takes it to repress him. I thought he takes it and it turns him into.
No, that's why Russell Crowe.
Because I thought they changed it like it was an immune. No, I mean, like in the original story.
Oh no! In the original story, he would take something to become Mr. Hyde, but then I think I was reading that it got more and more difficult for him to turn back into Dr. Jekyll, so he started taking stuff to suppress Mr. Hyde.
Okay, so it does.
It's one or the other. Either way, it's
so. But they do
he
kind
takes
of work
potions. Yeah, he takes mambo jumbo.
It's like an injection into his hand. It's a massive thing.
Yeah,
it's got like 4 vials in it.
Yeah, look, from what I can remember, you know, they're at the church. She goes to stab him. Ruby's
she finds the dagger that she had, which is in a statue in the church, and it's like she intentionally crashed the plane into the church. Like, luckily they were going to London.
Yeah.
She intentionally crashed the plane like near the church so that she could lure him there.
The fact that we have to explain this so much, it's already like you can tell what type of film this is. So
that she can get him on like the altar of the church and then smash the statue.
Yeah.
Which has got the dagger hidden in it, which apparently the Crusaders used to like hide ancient artifacts in their churches church statues.
And fuck.
And then she pulls out and she goes to stab, and then she realizes there's no diamond thing, ruby stone thing in the hilt, which is buried with all of the Crusaders that at the beginning of the film.
This is okay. Anyway,
what's funny about that is that we know that the ruby's there because of the flashback at the start, because they do have a brief bit with the Crusaders burying one of the knights with that. We know that that's there. What's his name?
Tom Cruise.
No, Russell Crowe.
Russell Crowe.
Who gets like jurisdiction over that.
Yeah.
Goes there.
Yeah.
Looks at a thing on the wall, which is never explained to us, but it's like he knows what's there.
Yeah.
Like he knows it must be there somewhere.
I guess.
But he never collects it in the time between then and the end of the film.
Look. Why? You know why this wasn't explained? Because Tom Cruise.
But yeah, she tries to stab him. She doesn't because it's not going to do what she wants and bring back Set. And then the blonde chick walks in and there's a really bad comedic moment where she like looks shocked because there's like dead people alive again.
And everyone like looks at it like...
And then they have a chase sequence in an ambulance.
Yeah.
Which was terrible because it's so badly edited.
It was dark
you couldn't
too.
see. It's dark. You can't see much. And then all of these guys come out of nowhere and capture
There was a lot of jump scares, which I think is like I don't. Well, for me, there were jump scares because music would change and there'd be like.
No, but I was like going, "This is a jump scare."
I know, but like I'm someone who gets like I don't like being startled. It wasn't that I was scared; I was just startled by the music.
That's a crap horror movie.
Yeah, well, exactly, that's what it is. And I was just kind of like, because at one point I just like put my scarf up and I was like on my phone because I was like, I don't want to watch this because like you're just getting me upset over nothing. And then like it's because once the mummy was actually attacking and all that, I had no issues. I was just watching. I was like, okay, like she was beating.
She's
people
not
up.
scary. Though.
She's not scary. I think she's more like just that kind of really powerful. But at the end, you knew what was going to happen with Tom Cruise. He wasn't going to die. He wasn't,
well, he's like invincible for most of this movie because he's the chosen.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm like,
so for most of the film, you're like going, who cares? Yeah. But the ending is garbage. It's so bad. It's just... So it eventually gets to the stage, it's like she's officially back. She somehow breaks out of whatever...
She like sucks one more human life out and she's all of a sudden like, oh my God, I'm all powerful.
And she's suddenly all powerful.
She had like a superhuman. A super protein shake human or something.
Yeah, so she gets out of all the bonds that she's in, that Dr. Jekyll put her in when they capture her.
But
after they've explained another 10 times what she did, even though we already know.
Yeah.
And then there's a Dr. Jekyll sequence where he has a fight with him. And then he gives him the thing to like put him. And that's when we see the other reference to the previous Mummy movies, which is the Book of the Dead that they have in that is used by the girl, because it's in Dr. Jekyll's library, is used by the girl to knock out one of his guards. She like hits him over the head and then the camera obviously follows it to the floor. Like, look, the thing. Remember?
Look.
Okay.
Look.
We'll move on with the scene. And then
look at that little bit of nostalgia. Remember it.
Remember the good movie? Yeah, that one.
Remember that film? You're not watching that.
Remember the good one? Yeah. You should go home and watch that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Probably wouldn't have to pay anywhere near as much. But yeah. So all that happens. Dr. Jekyll has a freak out and then he gets punched a few times by Tom Cruise and Tom Cruise punches him a few times. He actually breaks Tom Cruise's ribs.
Yeah, I did see that.
And then he's fine 2 seconds. Like, it's like nothing.
He's the chosen, Ren. Jeez. He's the chosen.
Yeah, okay. And then eventually, like, she starts tearing down London, which is the other thing. It's like, wasn't she, like, perfectly okay back in the ancient Egyptian times before they buried her? Like, what was stopping her from doing all this to fend them off?
Yeah.
And to raise Set in the first place?
Magic bondage.
Yeah, okay. Magic bandages.
Yeah, magic bandage.
How'd they get it on her? Anyway, so they...
That could be taken really...
Yeah, I know, they did, yeah. I only noticed, like, nearing the end that that's all she wears throughout the film, bandages.
Yeah. She's like Lady Gaga. Sorry. I do like Lady Gaga. Don't get me wrong, I do love Lady Gaga, but yeah.
She's a weirdo.
She wears a lot. All she wears is, like, she might as well just wear a G-string, I don't fucking know.
No, that's not weird enough.
No, it's not. It has to be weird, decayed bandage. You think at that point...
Made of rotten meat or something.
Yeah. But the thing that confuses me is that if your organs are still in your body and you decay... It's different from being embalmed. So technically, she shouldn't look like what she looked like.
She shouldn't have been preserved.
No, she shouldn't. She would have just been a skeleton. Yeah, because the whole reason your body decays is because we're getting too technical.
Yeah, But yeah, and then it gets to the end, and then they're all trying to get to the ruby first.
Yeah.
To finish the thing.
Yeah.
And this was the funniest bit to me because it was like Russell Crowe's intention is to basically kill Tom Cruise to finish the ritual.
Yeah.
Which didn't make sense because that'd bring Set back.
Yeah. And then he wanted to destroy Set.
And then it was like and then it's like, yeah, if we can kill you, then we'll just kill Set with a dagger or something like that. Like that was kind of his plan. I don't understand it. I don't know what makes him think he could kill the god of death, but whatever. And then the other lady comes in after they knock him out or something, or he falls over and passes out or something. I can't remember. That's how memorable it was. And she comes in and she's just like, we need to destroy the ruby.
Yeah.
And it's like, why? Because if you break the ruby, you break the curse. I'm like,
I thought the curse
When was that?
unbreakable.
Like, what is that?
Because up until that point, they were like, the curse is unbreakable. No one
Curse is
can break
unbreakable. You can't
Even
break
like
it. What if you
Ahmed.
break the ruby? Oh, okay, that'll work.
Yeah, no, but even Ahmed, like the girl, she was as she's trapped. She's telling them about. I don't know why she would, but apparently
Yeah,
for
she tells them everything.
for the sake of the story, and she
Tells us everything, really.
Yeah.
That's what
And she's like, you can't break the curse. 2 seconds later, actually, if you break the ruby, you break the curse. And you're like, oh.
I'm like, where'd she find that out?
Actually, they didn't
How
say
does
that.
she know less than the guy who runs the thing?
They didn't
Like,
say.
how does she know more?
She
though?
didn't say she'd break the curse. It just means no ruby, no curse, because you can't do the ritual. So like,
Yeah, but that she'd still
Okay.
be alive. She'd still be blowing the crap out of everything.
I don't fucking know. Like maybe like the ruby's
I
like
love it
connected.
also as well. It's like I don't know whether there are any casualties. Like she seems to blow all the windows, but that's about it.
Yeah, all the mummies, like when the people trapped in the
I mean, like,
Crusaders.
except that. But I mean, like in terms of like
people
she's
on the
blowing
plane.
shit up in the street,
Yeah.
and it's like, oh, that actually gets us to the only joke in the movie,
Oh,
which was
yeah.
good, which was
So like Tom,
Yeah.
I'm telling you,
You tell-
it's the only good one. I want to tell the good part. So Tom Cruise and what's the girl's name?
don't know, blonde lady.
Yeah, I'm just gonna call her the blonde chick.
I can't even remember what Tom Cruise's name is in the film. I just
Oh
call him
fuck,
Tom Cruise.
neither can I. Anyways, Tom Cruise and this blonde chick, they're like, this is right after he
She's
finds
a major
out.
character,
Yeah.
apparently.
I fucking don't. I don't for the life of me remember. They're chatting because Tom Cruise just found out he's going to die and become set and all that stuff. And she's like, I still really care for you, that mumbo jumbo shit. Boobity boobity boo, boobity doo. And then she's like, I know you care because you gave me the last parachute when we were on the plane. And he did that. The thing is, the context, let me explain, the tonality of it all is really weird because up until now, everything's been really serious. It's been really...
Kind of.
Or like it's been, it's been very Marvels. Everyone's getting ready for this battle, kind of. And then he just turns around and he's like, I thought there was another
one.
parachute.
Yeah.
And then she's like, and then this is because awkward silence, and you're like, and people are laughing, but I'm like, wait, what? Okay.
It's also the fact that his dead friend is following him around
Yeah,
everywhere,
that's-
talking to him, and
That's never explained. And then his friends come back to life at the very end.
Yeah.
He's just
the
like,
end of the
thanks for
film-
bringing
spoilers.
me back.
Spoilers.
Thanks for bringing me back,
brings his
man. Where
friend.
the fuck are we going? And then I'm like, wait, what?
The dialogue is literally, well, thanks for bringing me back to life, but blah, 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 whatever.
Fucking once again. What was that? That Simpsons episode, and Homer's listening to Marge and Marge saying thing, but in his head it's.
I think it's because that's like a Charlie Brown joke.
Oh,
isn't it?
maybe it was something. Oh, maybe it is a Charlie Brown. Either way,
No,
that's.
I mean, like, I think that's what they're referencing.
Oh yeah,
in Simpsons.
but either way, like I was watching and that's all I felt. I was like, I'm like,
You may as well.
it got really boring.
The
guys.
visuals are quite bland as well. It's not a fantastic looking film either.
The only scenes that are nice, I find, like these scenes where it's the flashbacks back to Egypt, ancient Egypt.
Yeah.
I thought they were kind of pretty.
think
I
they-
think the makeup on her was amazing, but that's a girl thing.
I actually think it's like the cinematography in the 1999 version was more
Oh
interesting.
yeah, probably. This was very. This is very just. There's like a blue grade. It's like if you know like those guys who just wear polo shirts and all that stuff.
Yeah.
This is like that type of. There's no interesting cinematography.
No, it
Just-
was like, it's fine.
just-
It's fine.
It's cool.
That is definitely a visual.
Tom Cruise will do all the acting for us, apparently. Not.
He runs around a lot. But he does that in all his movies.
My favorite part is when he gets beat up by the girl at the very end.
the
She's
end.
just punching.
She like punches it. So eventually it ends with like the dagger and the ruby are reunited,
Yeah.
and it looks like she's going to win, but she's not. And
Yeah.
the other blonde lady has drowned,
Yeah.
and she's dead. And I was sitting there for a second going, no way she's going to stay dead.
Yeah, nah, honey.
There's
Nah,
no
honey.
way.
Nah,
But
like literally, like I'm sitting there like, oh, she ain't dead. She's just not breathing.
she's fine.
She's gonna be a vegetable, but she'll be
It's like
fine.
she'll be fine in 5 minutes when he fixes this problem.
Yeah.
And then anyway,
When the
there's
plot catches up to her, she'll be
Yeah.
fine.
and there's whole action sequence we're skipping them because who cares?
I
They
don't
suck.
remember it.
There's like a whole sequence where he's swimming. and
We
he's
watched
being
Wonder
chased
Woman
by-
a week, like 2 weeks ago, and we still really remember it. And we
Yeah.
watched this film yesterday, and we're just like, I fucking don't know. I don't remember.
I can't remember.
It's like
It was
complicated,
crap.
and difficult. It's painful. It's
just not memorable at all.
It's hard to remember. It's one of those films. It's like if you ever watch a film and you come out and you're like, what happened?
Yeah.
Who's this? What's that? You did not watch a film. That
Didn't
was
like
good.
it.
Because it's like, you shouldn't struggle to remember a good film.
But yeah, so it gets to the end. He's having a fight with her over the dagger. He smashes it, and then he sucks her life out.
No, so he goes to crush the root. So she picks him up by his throat, and as he's doing, because he's a thief, he like steals the dagger from her. He
stabs himself,
and then he tries to crush the ruby. But then she's like, "You will be the you will be the god of life and death. You will be able to control everything." Blah blah. I'm not okay. And then he looks over at. Oh wait, her name is Jenny.
Is it?
It's Jenny, because I kept thinking to myself, Jenny from like Forrest Gump. Her name is Jenny. This is the wrong time. But yeah, he looks over to her and he's like, and then he just looks at, and he like stabs himself, and then he becomes like a little evil, like the iris thing. Yeah,
his iris things go
double,
like hers.
Yeah, and then he sits up, and then she's you think they're gonna be like all weirdly sexual, like her and her god husband or whatever.
And then he makes out with her, but sucks her life out.
No, because he remembers Jenny saying that I know deep down you're a good man or something. Yeah, okay. Oh yeah, because that was previous joke. And then he like turns back into himself, but then is like half set, half him.
It's not clear whether that's set, because it's exactly what she's like, how she looks.
I don't know.
He looks like the man version of her from that point. Like,
but he doesn't have the same
characteristics. That doesn't matter. Who cares? It's probably just because they didn't want to put tattoos on Tom Cruise. They didn't want to make him look too ugly. He is the lead of the film, and it's Tom Cruise.
I think she looks really hot with the tattoos.
It's probably in his contract.
No tattoos.
You can't make me look ugly. I'm sorry.
Yeah. And then once he does that, he sucks the life out of her, and then goes to Jenny, and then he goes all weird monster.
But that's the whole thing. I was sitting there going, "What's happening here?" He stabs himself, and I went, "What? I thought you were trying to avoid that." The whole movie, I thought that was what you were trying to avoid, having the dagger shoved into him, because then he'd bring back dead.
Yeah, but then he was control of the god of death.
How?
You know what's funny though, because like he obviously does it. They had to try and make it. He does it to save her life, but then there's no real relationship there.
Apparently, that's going to give him like superpowers now.
Yeah, it does give him superpowers because
Because at the end, he raises his friend from the dead, and then they're riding off into the desert distance, and it's like his horse's hooves are creating like a sandstorm behind him.
The god of sand. Is it Gara?
He's Anakin
Prince
Skywalker.
of the Desert. He's Gara, Prince of the... Have you seen Naruto? That's
no,
like
I haven't.
Prince of the Desert. It's like a guy with red hair and dark eyeliner.
No, it's Anakin Skywalker. He hates sand.
Oh my god.
It's rough and it's coarse and it gets everywhere.
But like they make it out like he's done it because he cares for her. And she's like, oh yeah, he saved my life. But he turned himself into a monster to save me. And I'm like, yeah, but...
Who cares?
You guys aren't even like...
Who cares?
No one even really knows your relationship. Like, they spend the whole time pretending to hate each other, and then at the very end, like, oh, I love you, bye. No. I have to go now, bye. How glad you're okay.
That'd be like at the start of Wonder Woman.
I got a weird mummy boner.
It's like, imagine if it's like the start of Wonder Woman, she arrived and then she just stole the map off Chris Pine and she went and did all the stuff, and then she only meets him again at the end. And it's like, I love you. That's exactly what it feels like.
Yeah, exactly. It's what's like a really insignificant relation? Ever seen Twilight? That's a Twilight.
Feels like that. Feels forced.
Yeah. Shit. Actually, Twilight. No, it feels like 50 Shades of Grey type of shit. Where it's like, I love you, but no, but you're all fucked up. But I love you, but you're all fucked up. And then he's all like, but I don't love you. And then he's like, oh wait, no, I love you.
Well, yeah.
Well, it's like, you get me. You don't get me. You get me.
But then the film ends.
And then
it's over. And you don't care.
Yeah.
And I don't know what they're going to do now. I don't know whether it's doing anywhere near as well as the box office that they wanted it to.
Probably not.
And they're trying to build a whole cinematic universe off this. They've got Van Helsing coming. They've got...
What's Van Helsing the vampire?
He's a vampire hunter. Yeah. He's a guy who hunts Dracula.
Okay.
Because they've got to bring Dracula into it at some point. They're having Bride
Is
of
Dracula going to be
the
21st century type of Dracula? Or are we
I assume, because Mummy was... It's all going to be like, because Tom Cruise.
They're going to hire Robert Pattinson. You know what? I'm actually excited. I'm excited to see an actual like vampire. I'm sick and fucking tired of watching Twilight vampires.
I hate the modern day Sparkly. It's either your True Blood types, which are like really just annoying and stupid and like over the top to the max, or it's like Twilight where it's just
really
annoying.
Hot. What was that film that it wasn't? Oh my god, Vampire Diaries, the one with like the girl and the two guys, and
That's not a film though, isn't that a series?
No, it's a series, but like literally every episode she's sleeping with one of them. There's always a sex scene.
Who cares? Isn't that True Blood as well? But it's like more R-rated. Isn't that the same plot of every single one of these vampire stories?
A lot of sex, yeah. It's like someone was like you know what would be great about what would be even better with Twilight? Sex. Boom. Industry made.
Well done. Got to make money for the next 10 years.
You know what's even better than sex in Twilight? Sex. 50 Shades of Grey. Boom. That's literally how this industry was made.
Just take the vampire bit out. It's fine.
Yeah, it's
make him very rich.
It's like
people like Batman. Oh, yeah.
People like Batman. People like Twilight. People like 50 Shades of Grey. It's like if they were like, let's get the Batman fucked up side, not the Batman part, just the Bruce Wayne fucked up side.
If Bruce Wayne had no point to his life and wasn't Batman, and
he'd
just
be into weird sadomasochist bondage porn that isn't actually an accurate representation of bondage porn. Not that I know of. What? No, because at one point I was like,
I'm sure there were many articles written.
No, there were. I did a lot of research because I'm weird like that. But honestly, the type of porn they portray in 50 Shades. No, honest.
But it's not. They're not portraying porn. They're portraying apparently what people do.
A lifestyle.
Yeah, a preference.
Like a pumpkin spice latte. That's the saying. It's like a pumpkin spice latte. It's not just a drink. It's a lifestyle.
I thought that was a reference to like 50 Shades of Grey for a second. Like that was the thing.
No. Well, I can imagine why you would think that, but no. You know what? Actually, if you talk about 50 Shades of Grey, the one line I remember very distinctly from one of the books. I read up to book 2 and then I could not read any further. For the love of God,
I'm surprised you got that far.
No, because what happened was I read the first book and then I was like, okay, I'll read the second. So I read halfway through the second and I'm like, I fucking can't do this. So I Googled it and then I read the Google reference of what happened in the second book and then I read the Google thing for the third book because I could not do the third book. I swear to God, like I felt like I was putting off. I would say to myself, because I would be like, okay, I'm gonna read this.
Why did you even put, like, it's not like you were studying it.
Yeah, well, why do we watch The Mummy, Ren? For personal references.
We're actually doing this.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, you know.
But either way, I was like, I'm going to read it because all my friends are reading it. And I just couldn't. Like, I just got to a point, I'm like, I can't do this. So I read it. But the one line I distinctly remember is her talking about one of the antagonists taking out a cigarette from his red Marlboro cigarette, and like very descriptive of the cigarette and him lighting a cigarette. And I'm just
that sounds like padding.
Yeah, it's a lot of. There's so
not
much.
Long enough. I'll describe every detail of him lighting a cigarette.
You know, it's like when I'm trying to finish a 4,000-word essay at uni, and I'm like, so you
just put the same sentence, but kind of backwards.
It's like John. Let's say it's like John was 18. 18 was John. When John was 18 years old. Like, just that sentence again and again.
He went down to the shops to get milk. Milk was the reason he went down to the shops.
When he went to the shops, he got the milk.
Yeah. Because he needed it for something at home, which is why he left to go down to the shops.
Exactly. That is literally 50
Shades.
Shades.
And that's this crap out.
Literally The Mummy, actually.
That's probably The Mummy. Yeah. So there's a lot of exposition that's just said over and over again.
Yeah, it's like, Ahmed killed her family. Her family was killed by...
her name's Ahmed?
It's Ahmed. It's Ahmed, sorry, not Ahmed. It's like, Ahmed killed her family. Ahmed's family was killed by her.
Whenever somebody
She wanted to kill her family. Yeah. Ahmed planned to kill her family.
And then you ask the question, but why? And they go, shut up.
Why? Because she wanted to be queen. Why couldn't she pause them?
It's like, she killed her family in this way. Why'd you do that? In the movie. In the roll credits. Quick.
Oh my gosh. Anyway.
So yeah, this whole cinematic universe is apparently going to kick off, but I
want
can't
to see Dracula. I'll see Dracula. So
I'll
give it a chance. I'll be like,
I would like to see a good Dracula movie.
You know, that'd be great.
But I don't think, because they're going for like action movies, not for horror movies, which is the problem. And I'd rather see like an actual proper retelling of like Dracula.
Same with Frankenstein.
That isn't the Coppola one, because Dracula looks so stupid in that movie. Even though I like Coppola as a director, that's terrible.
Is that the one where
it's got Keanu Reeves and Gary Oldman?
Yeah. I remember I watched that when I was it freaked me out there because
it's pretty well done.
It's a nice
I just hate the way Dracula looks. He looks stupid. But I mean, everybody should know. It's what this whole universe is based off. All the old Universal monsters from many
it's like,
decades
how do we
ago.
make money by bringing things back from the 1980s?
Yeah,
or whatever.
not 80s.
Not 80s.
Much earlier than that. Black and white.
40s.
That's how old. Yeah, like all through that period.
Yeah.
But like, it's kind of hard to follow someone like Bela Lugosi who played Dracula, and he's he is the version of Dracula everybody knows. Everybody thinks about.
Like
as for the Mummy, the Mummy's always been like the lame one. Because it's usually like it's a very slow moving corpse wrapped in bandages and it goes, and that's it.
Yeah.
In this, they tried to make it cool and attractive.
The thing is, she is like the best part.
She's probably the best part of the movie. She's not
amazing.
She's not scary, in my opinion. I didn't find her scary.
She's more just very she's very eerie kind of. Because she's very dark features but she's very good at portraying that figure where she's got
like a very severe face.
Yeah, she's not scary, but she does put you at unease because
you could see why they'd choose her.
Yeah, definitely. She's beautiful.
I haven't seen Star Trek Beyond yet, but she's in that as one of the
I loved
characters.
her, but in same kind of situation in Kingsman, she's very quiet, and she wasn't going to do anything
better
crazy.
in that though.
Yeah, definitely. But
that's just a much better.
But she was very quiet. But at the same time, you're like, she's got one of those. She could take one look at you, and be like, oh god, oh god.
Well, they introduce her character really well because it's like the guy at the start gets cut in half by her. Just all of a sudden, he splits in half.
Yeah, and then she just hides everything. She's like,
she's like talking to Luke Skywalker, and she's like, "Here, hold the towels."
Yeah. I've got to cover it.
I've got to cover it up so Samuel Jackson doesn't throw up at the sight of blood.
And then she just comes in. She's all smiles and butterflies. It's pretty cool. And I think we should wrap up.
Yes, we should.
It's been a while, hasn't it?
Yeah. No, I don't know what we're doing next.
What's coming out? Let me have
I'm not sure. In 2 weeks.
Is there a reason why your pants are here?
I don't
know. Let's have a look. Are people going to sponsor us and give us free tickets? Someone buy me some tickets, please.
Anyway, we'll wrap it up.
I've got A Dog's Purpose.
Oh, no, that's already out. That's already out, and I'm pretty sure it's gone, and I hope it's gone because it looks bad.
There's Andre Rieu's 2017 Maastricht. Sorry. There's Baby Driver. We wanted to see Baby Driver.
Yeah, I want to see Baby Driver. Oh yeah, soon Dunkirk will be out.
I'm so excited. I didn't know anything about Dunkirk, but oh my god, it looks really good. It looks
I can't wait
really
for that.
Good. Despicable Me 3.
Yeah.
I want to see it. I already told you I want to see it.
Yes, I know. Anyway, we'll wrap it up and end it there. So thanks for listening if you did.
We can watch King Arthur.
Nah.
No.
Anyway, thanks for tuning in.
I'll see you in 2 weeks. We'll get the in between show kind of running soon.
Yeah, soon.
If I ever get internet. If I ever get internet.
Excellent. Okay. Bye.
Bye-bye.